To many, there are few things more comforting than the warm embrace of a grandparent. But what happens when that warm embrace turns cold? Tonight, our narrator describes, to the best of their ability, just how scary that can be. I'm Ryan Bergara, and this is Are You Scared? Don't look at it. A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's see if we can make it till the end of the night. To grandmother's house we go. My little sister Sarah and I are relaxing on the couch. Two urns sit on the coffee table in front of us. Neither of us say anything. The slow tick of the mantle clock and gentle hum of the AC seem louder and more pronounced than normal.
This is in present tense. This is visceral.
This is happening right now.
We're there. We're in the trenches with them.
That's right.
Yes.
Anything could happen. Is he? She asks, so quietly I almost miss it. I only hum in reply.
I'm there, so I'm gonna be...
No, you're Izzy then. Are you okay? Of course, I reply. She waits a beat longer before following up. What do you think happened? I'm silent for a moment, not sure how to answer her. It's been a week since it happened. Just a week ago, we were tasked to help move Grandma into our home. And less time than that, since we experienced the unexplained.
You ever have a grandma move in with you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Rest in peace, Grandma.
Rest in peace also to my grandmas.
I saw her naked.
You did say that.
Yup.
When my grandma moved in, we changed all the toilets.
Because of her?
Yeah. She was old and she needed some real tall ones.
Oh, I thought she had done something to the toilets. And
No,
therefore you
no,
needed...
no.
I was like, Grandma,
We had to put in real tall ones and we never got rid of them.
I've told the story of my grandma, I think.
You saw her breasts.
I did. I saw her and then her breasts several seconds later.
Well, that never happened with my grandma.
She just ruined your plumbing.
She didn't ruin it. We just put weird toilets in.
Okay. I'd been driving for almost 10 hours, but for Grandma, I would have done anything. Even if I kinda wished I'd just gone with my dad instead of driving myself. Still, we were moving her out and it didn't make sense for all of us to cram in one car. My dad was picking up a rental truck and Sarah and I were going to meet him there. We'd done the drive before when we'd gone to stay with Grandma for the summer, but it had been years and I'd forgotten just how far out into the sticks she lived. By the time we started seeing houses again, most of their lights had been turned off for the night. It was peaceful out here, but I'm sure it would feel lonely by yourself. I knew I was on the right street, so I slowed the car down to find the right house. I turned the radio down and Sarah gives me shit. Yes, turn the radio down so you can see better. My little sister.
That is funny.
It's pretty good.
That's funny sibling stuff.
Yeah, just busting your sister's balls. You want me to open the map again? My little sister asked. No, I remember what the fence looked like, I insisted. Sure you do. I do! What does the fence look like then? Like, wooden. Sarah just looked at me. Okay, maybe I don't. With a scoff, she went to open her phone. But before she could begin typing in the address, I saw it. Bright lights lit up the meticulously kept garden. The fence was also wooden. Screw you, Sarah. However, it was the driveway that drew my attention, as the dark silhouette of an old woman came into focus out of the darkness. Is that Grandma? I asked. No, Sarah replied. Wait, I think it is, I shout. Actually? She asks. I quickly pulled up and parked the car, jumping out in excitement to finally end my journey, and to see Grandma, but paused, reminding myself why we were there, and approached a little slower. She looked a bit younger than I've seen her in a while. Her face was fuller, eyes less yellow, but she gave me the same gummy smile I missed so much. Izzy, Sarah, she greeted us, and I immediately went to hug her. She felt cold. Sarah took a little longer as she grabbed our backpacks from the car. I've missed you so much, Gran. How are you? I stopped myself, not wanting to mention Grandpa just yet. I awkwardly fell into a sad smile instead. I'm as usual, but enough about me. Let's get you inside, she said, then started to lead us up the driveway. She had always been a sturdy woman, caring for others above herself, no matter the circumstances. Still, the difference between Grandma now and how she was at the funeral just 2 weeks before was staggering. Her smile and shuffle up the driveway was almost nonchalant. But grief does weird things, I guess.
So Papa died.
Pop died.
Pop.
He popped off the earth.
Popped off.
Did she like absorb his life force, or is she happy he's gone?
She's too happy is what you're saying.
It seems like she's more lively than she was at the funeral. She has been rejuvenated by this.
Maybe she did suck his life force out.
My concern was immediately forgotten as her garden came into view. Oh boy, I bet
Grandma's garden?
I bet your grandma's garden
I
is
bet it's
lush.
lush. Beautiful.
Did we both say lush
yeah,
at
it's
the
lush.
same time?
You know
It's
that's
lush.
a beautiful
I
garden.
bet you it's so good.
Unless she's feeble.
Well, she's not feeble.
If
they
she's
just-
feeble, then the garden probably
dead.
looks a bit lackluster, full of weeds, choking out the beautiful flowers. Because Grandma can't get down on her knees.
What the fuck?
You got it. That's in the dirt. That's gardening. I was doing gardening this weekend on my balcony, and I wish I had knee pads.
I didn't know you were an aspiring green thumb.
I'm not really. Every 2 or 3 years I have to buy new plants because all of mine die. But I plant them.
It was beautiful and meticulous, with massive blooms of every color woven around a winding path, everything perfectly placed and glowing in fairy light. Each bush was immaculately trimmed. Flowers that I swore weren't in season were somehow bursting with bright, vibrant petals, and not one leaf dared to rustle. So it seems like these flowers are actually more improved than usual. Is she E.T.?
I don't think this
E.T.
person...
kind of looks like a grandparent.
Could
when you
we
think about
snag
it.
that IP just for this story? I noticed Grandma was short and looked like a raisin.
When E.T.'s walking around in the dress, kind of looks like a grandma.
Big time. Sounds like a grandma too.
I think grandma's E.T.
What if this bitch is E.T.?
Sarah was also entranced. However, her attention wasn't on the garden, but her phone. When we finally reached the door, Gran beckoned us in, urging us to take a seat and rest in the lounge room. I didn't particularly feel like sitting as I had been doing that the past 10 hours, but I obliged. Sarah flopped next to me and Gran swooped in on my other side, taking my hand in hers immediately. "You must tell me about your journey," Gran asked.
Now she sounds like a Star Wars character. You must tell me about your journey.
I wasn't expecting. Well, how could I say that without sounding like a...
Oh, you must tell me about your journey.
That's good.
Yeah.
Still kind of like a Star Wars character,
Yeah, a
but
little bit.
her eyes seeming to search me. It wasn't really that exciting. We just looked at a lot of trees, Sarah responded, before turning to me to add, "Oh, and Dad might not make it tonight. He got held up at the rental place." "Oh, is Dad coming too?" Grandma grinned broadly. I didn't realize she put her teeth back in.
That's another person that she can suck the life out of.
That's right.
Yeah.
She could reverse ouch them.
I think she's a sucker. It's the opposite of E.T.
It's
because
right,
E.T. give life.
Exactly. She's reverse ouching them.
She's a, yeah.
Hurt. Hurt. It was alarming she didn't remember, but it made sense. That was what my dad was worried about, and why we were moving her out. After Grandpa died, we didn't think she could live on her own anymore. Yeah, he was only supposed to be like an hour behind, but I think he's gonna pull into a motel for the night, Sarah answers. Wait, really? Where did he last text you from? I ask. The 7-Eleven with the bakery attached to it. Haven't heard from him in a bit. I mean, if there is a 7-Eleven with a bakery attached, I'm gonna be perusing a little bit. I've never seen that.
I've seen some nice 7-Elevens.
They have the hot dogs.
They have hot dog, pizza,
Yeah, but they don't have a bakery.
Slim Jim,
There's a lot to look at there.
candy bar. That's weird.
They're trying to figure out what's going on with
Weird
their
if
dad.
Dad to be like, oh, I'm an hour behind. I think I'm gonna chill at a motel by myself.
The dad got held up at the rental place, and he was already supposed to be an hour behind, but now he's much further behind.
Oh, so that's why he sleep at hotel.
And the 7-Eleven with the bakery is also a culprit here.
Yeah.
That's a time suck. Little does he know he's about to get actually sucked.
I don't know if everyone's gonna get sucked. What if she's using people to fertilize her garden?
Oh, that's good.
Did they see Grandpa's body, is my question.
Like his finger sticking out of the mud.
I feel like she'd like grind him up though to make fertilizer. But she does seem stronger, so maybe she's eaten a little grandpa burger. I wonder in the history of cannibalism if anyone's ever made like ground meat out of a human and then made like a burger. I bet it's happened.
It's a strange thought to have, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'm not endorsing that. This is the void. This is where we entertain these sick and twisted things.
Okay.
You were talking about your grandma's titties.
That's because that happened. I had to duck.
Okay.
Sarah pulled her phone out to text Dad back, but the message failed to send. Classic old person homes. They have terrible service. She immediately started the lack of service dance, standing up and waving her phone around the room. I sighed, disappointed, but turned back to Gran, who hadn't taken her eyes off me. "You lovelies must be so hungry," she announced suddenly, and started to get up, but I gently tugged her back down. "I'm sorry, Gran, but we're full. We just stopped for burgers an hour ago." Sarah then fixated her eyes on an old clock. It was a cat with a terrifying grin.
I have one of those.
You do?
Yeah, he broke. I got to take him to the hospital. There's a Kit Kat clock hospital in Los Angeles. I got to take him to. I tried to fix him and I dropped him. He shattered. And then I tried to super glue it back together. It was a gift I got for Sarah and then I broke it.
Wow, you told that story so fast and monotone, I didn't even have time to ask you questions. It just came out of you.
I love a Kit Kat clock.
Gran, I thought we broke that clock, said Sarah.
They're just like me for real.
They just like me. I had also thought that, but maybe she replaced it? Everything's getting fixed, so maybe she is E.T. We're back.
She's like E.T., but also like the little UFOs from Batteries Not Included, another Steven Spielberg production.
If you guys aren't familiar with the tale of E.T.,
Tell them the tale of E.T.
Well,
from the top.
all you really need
Penis breath, take it away.
No, all you really need to know is he's a little alien guy who got left behind, but he has powers to heal people, and he once saw his buddy get hurt, and his buddy went, ouch! And then he said, ouch, and healed the cut.
I like to think that that's what Steven Spielberg walked into the pitch room with.
He's got a
One
buddy.
time he saw his buddy.
And his buddy went, ouch! And he went, ouch! And then it healed, and that's his voice
Like,
sounds real
Stevie,
gravelly.
that's a hit.
He sounds like this. Ouch, ouch.
Do you think Steven Spielberg did the voice for them?
I think so.
And he sounds like this. Ouch.
Here's a check for $8 billion. No, I don't think so, said Gran. Sarah insisted. No, its smile always gave us the creeps, so I remember I picked it up one time to scare Izzy and it fell and broke. You were so sad. Gran stared at it a second, confused.
This is so crazy. This is like reading my own autobiography. That's what happened with my clock. I dropped it. I dropped the clock.
What if this story slowly becomes
There's
your
also
story?
a Sarah in
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Oh my God.
And then
Am
we have
I
to wonder,
Izzy?
are you actually just a character
Both
in
my
these
grandmas
stories?
are dead, but are they?
We are in a void. You've always been in a void.
Scary. Okay, keep going.
Sarah stared at it, scratching her head. Oh, why not some dessert then? You have to eat, Gran interrupted. Really, Gran, we're so full, I said. Full belly, Sarah echoed, rubbing her stomach and yelled loudly to get the point across. I like that. I do that all the time.
Sarah's very funny.
Full belly. Are you sure? Gran asked. And for a moment, I forgot what we were talking about as her eyes kept fixated on mine. After a protracted beat, I finally said, I'm just really tired from driving. I'm sure if I get some rest, I'll be ready for a big breakfast tomorrow. Good night, Gran. As I turned to head towards the bedrooms, I felt Gran's cold hand grab mine. I stopped and turned to look at her, but she was still just smiling and looking at me. I stiffly smiled back and pulled gently out of her grasp. There was a bit of resistance. Me too, I'm pooped, Sarah adds. We said goodnight, and Sarah and I began to move down the hall. The interaction had been strange, but I was exhausted and loopy from driving for so long, and I should have expected that Gran wouldn't quite be herself. The floorboards didn't creak as we walked. Dead silent. I should sleep well tonight. I headed to our normal bedroom without thinking. As soon as the tips of my fingers touched the knob, a loud, deep echoing feeling bounced off the walls around us, accompanied by a terrible, sick feeling in my body. I heard a booming, no, but wasn't in a voice I recognized. I almost thought I imagined it, and would have assumed as much if it wasn't for Sarah clutching to my back for cover. With my hand frozen, I turned to face Grandma. She sat in her chair, her face a mask. Raising her hand, she pointed to the door at the very end of the hallway. Wrong door, sweetie, she said in one note. So the grandma was the one who said no.
Yeah, she had a monster jumped out.
How many seconds can a grandma stare at you before it becomes eerie? Unbroken stare.
Well, they do. They stare. They sort of get lost.
I do that too, though. When
You
I
do
get
that
when
too.
I get distracted and then I just zone out, I will be just wherever I was last staring is where I'm staring.
Sometimes I think it's a bit.
It's not.
No, I've learned over the years it's definitely not.
Then you found out I had ADHD.
Yeah.
It all made sense. Like, oh, that's why he disappears sometimes. Then it clicked. No wonder she was weird about us touching the door. This must have been where she found Grandpa. I wasn't told the details, but I do know Grandma was the one to find him, and it wasn't pretty. I don't think I'd ever heard her yell before. Weird as it was, I tried to understand the pain she must still be in. Sorry, Gran. I responded as I pushed Sarah towards the other room. She remained stiff and clearly unnerved. Her eyes focused on Grandma as I moved her back. As soon as we entered the room, I tried to calm Sarah down a bit. She's not as used to this stuff as I am. Come on, Sarah. I know. I tried. Why does she always stare at us? Pausing for a brief moment, I said the only explanation I could think of. We must have just triggered a memory, that's all. She's still staring. I glanced behind us and confirmed that Grandma was still, in fact, staring. She offered a little wave as I shut the door. Sleep tight. We'll fucking kill this lady. Grief can make people act weird sometimes, and I know she didn't mean to yell. I sighed. I had no idea if anything I said was true, but neither did Sarah. This seemed to be enough of an explanation for her as she settled herself in the left bed. Should we stay up for Dad? Sarah asked. Nah, you said he was probably going to stay in a motel, plus he has a key, I responded as I settled into the other bed.
You ever sleep at your grandparents' house?
It's never very comfortable.
Have you done it?
I have.
It's nice.
I never enjoyed it that much, honestly. I like my bed.
My grandparents had the AM radio on in the other room.
Oh, that's kind of nice. Like those
Memory.
YouTube videos, like music from another room.
Yeah, kind of.
They
They
had
smoked a lot, so it smelled.
I was about to say, it had a scent that I
Yeah,
didn't
the scent was smoke.
that I didn't particularly enjoy. Mine weren't smokers, they were just old. And they had that classic, like, plastic over the
Oh,
couch.
mine didn't have that. My grandma loved Super Mario Brothers 3.
What?
She loved Super Mario Brothers 3. She played a lot of it. And the Chicago Bulls.
Sounds like a cool lady.
Yeah, rip.
Rip. It wasn't the comfiest bed. It was hard and smelled of old people. It was also oddly silent. Not even the rustle of leaves could be heard. Without the booming sound of nighttime bugs and the pure exhaustion of the day, I drifted off into sleep. But before I could hit the wonders of REM, I was awakened by constant buzzing and loud movements. I forced my eyes open and was greeted by the sight of Sarah reaching for my phone. Izzy, I want to leave, Sarah frantically whispered. Sighing, I tumbled out of bed just in time to see the call get disconnected as soon as Sarah grabbed the phone. No service. It was Dad, she whispered. Oh, he must have gotten lost too. Before I could reply, Sarah forced the window open and started climbing out with my phone in hand. What are you doing? I whispered as quietly and as loud as I could. Look, she pointed at the door. I could only see the light from under the door, but the light from the living room was interrupted by two legs standing motionless in front of the door. Grandma outside that door.
That's grandma.
Is it Grandma or is it E.T.? The climbing out the window is crazy, right?
I never did that. I always wanted to do that.
Oh, to like sneak out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
guess
do that
I
either.
climbed out of my bathroom window to sit on the roof.
Oh, cool.
We were doing work on the roof, you know.
I
It was
see.
like approved by my parents. They were like, get up on the roof.
Approved.
Yeah.
You filed the paperwork and they were like, yes, you
I
can
never
do that.
had like I always want to climb down a trellis.
Yeah, like if you were sneaking out or if there was, like a friend or a girlfriend outside, be like, come on, Shane,
Let's kiss.
come join us at the ravine.
Yeah, with a quarry. Go down to the quarry, smoke some
whatever happened.
cigarettes, shoot some cans.
We've all been in that situation where like you get woken up in the middle of the night, you're like, where am I? Who am I?
What year is it? Who's
Also,
president?
immediately your first thought's like, wait, I'm actually not in my room. I forgot, I'm at Grandma's house. Wait, why is my sister doing that weird thing with her phone? Is that Dad? Call disconnected. Shadow under the door? Is that Grandma?
Is that Grandma?
Sister out the window? What's going on? Going back to sleep. That's me.
That's you.
I'm going back to sleep.
I'm opening that door and I'm seeing who's behind it.
And then punching Grandma right in the face? Or
Yeah. She go, Hooch. Why?
Wait, I whispered. No, I want to talk to Dad, Sarah responded. Suddenly, girls, I'm out here. The voice of my dad came from the doorway.
I don't trust it. I don't trust
Don't
it.
open that door, you invite her in. She might be a vampire.
Using different voices.
Like, I'm out here, let me in. All you gotta do is, let me in.
your father. You can trust me.
Like the T-1000. Maybe she's actually the T-1000,
That's right.
who's the villain in Terminator 2 that could take the shape of people and their voice.
I think they know that.
They may not know that. They didn't know who E.T. was.
Oh, you didn't know who E.T. was. You
Maybe.
idiots.
Sarah, he's here, I said. But instead of listening to me, she climbed through the window and reached back inside to start pulling me out. Knowing it would all be a silly misunderstanding, I humored her and climbed out. The phone buzzed. As soon as Sarah answered, Dad's voice boomed out of the phone. Oh, thank God, girls. Are you okay? Where are you, girls? Dad? Sarah questioned. Sarah, is Izzy with you? You have to tell me where you are. Dad never yelled at us, and here he was so loud that he sounded like he was on speaker. Gazing down the driveway, I started to notice the flash of red and blue lights. What is going on? Sarah instantly started to walk forward, trying to get answers from Dad. But before we could go further than a few steps, Grandma appeared by the front door, fully dressed in daywear, her smile ever present. "Girls, where are you going?" She tilted her head, and I swear I could see her teeth from where I stood. "Come back!"
She's got them chompers in.
No, that's right. She's got
She hungry.
She's got her mauling dentures in.
Yeah. This lady ate her husband.
Well, if it's,
I think she ate him.
I think somebody ate her, pretended to be her, then she ate her
sure.
husband.
Yeah.
I don't think Grandma was always like a succubus or whatever.
That'd be a long con.
A long con. Living a beautiful life,
Living a
producing
beautiful
offspring
life.
and family.
Yeah.
Time to eat them all. you know, farming her own meals, I guess. Come back. Wait a moment, I think Dad's lost, I replied, buying us time to figure things out.
Come back!
She was more forceful this time. Her smile widened as she moved towards us. There it was, that booming voice again.
Get over here!
Grandma Scorpion? Is Grandma Scorpion? Dad, is that you in the street? Sarah interrupted, still on the phone. Looking down the driveway, I did indeed see Dad running frantically, the red and blue lights illuminating the dark street. Grabbing Sarah's hand, I started to run down the driveway as I yelled back. "Stay right there, Grandma, we'll be right back." Come back! Her voice started to echo, but it got cut off by one even louder. Izzy, Sarah, Dad screamed. I've never heard him sound like that or look that scared.
Do you think they found Grandma's body somewhere? Am I anticipating too much of this story?
No, that's good. I like that.
I got the dad beat. I think maybe they found Grandma dead somewhere.
And so we know for sure there are now one, if not two, weird mimics in this house.
Because Dad is worried.
Dad'd be worried.
And the only reason I can think that he'd be immediately worried about this is if he knew, like, why are they in this house if Grandma is dead?
Or he was like, you gotta check out this 7-Eleven bakery. They got every snack you could ever want.
Maybe.
The air was sucked out of me a bit as he bear hugged us, his tears slightly wetting my shoulder. "Oh, you're okay. Thank God you're okay," he continued to mutter. "I should have been with you girls. I'm so sorry." Wait, Dad, you both must have been so scared. Tired of getting interrupted, tired in general, and just so confused, I pushed him back a bit. "What do you mean? Why would we be scared?" I was close to yelling. "Just tell us, Dad." "Grandma is dead," he responded.
He does it again.
You're good, dude. You're really good.
I should write a scary story.
What if she actually is E.T. and we guessed that too? Because that would be the craziest thing to guess.
That's not your grandma.
It's E.T.
That's E.T. the extraterrestrial. But he's not good. The movie was wrong about that. He is bad. He was able to fix the Kit Kat clock. And we thought that was a very sweet thing for him to do. He did also kill your grandpa. I'm not entirely sure what his motivations are. This is a weird story.
It is
anyway,
a weird
that's
story.
the end. Okay, what happens?
No, we were just with Grandma. She's right up there, Sarah interrupted before suddenly going silent. And I did too, as I turned my attention to the house, or lack thereof.
The house is gone?
Is this Monster House? This is like that part, it's a bad movie, but Space Jam 2 when all like the IP starts to...
Don't talk about
Converge.
Space Jam 2.
Is this Space Jam 2?
You remember anything from Space Jam 2?
No, but this is what Space Jam 2...
What happens in Space Jam 2?
I know Pennywise watches them play basketball.
Yeah, he does. That part's funny. The house is gone.
I guess the house is gone.
Did it do a poltergeist?
We'll see.
Sorry to just keep naming movies. We love film.
The once immaculate garden was overgrown. The rotten house decaying. Even the shape of the house was different. The window we climbed out of wasn't there at all. The once colorful garden was now only lit up by the red and blue lights. Sarah remained silent as I tried to stutter my way through a sentence. She was there. Looking into my dad's eyes, I slowly shut my mouth. His brows furrowed, and he almost looked like he was wincing. Tears pricked his eyes. The police officers who came up behind him shared a similar look. We didn't find out what happened until later. Dad had already arrived that night and found our grandma. He didn't say how he found her, but I know it wasn't pretty. My silence seems to be enough of an answer for Sarah, until she asks once more. Then, what do you think that was? The doctors told us what we experienced was a shared delusion, created as a defense mechanism against a traumatic event. They say we found our grandma and saw what our dad saw, but we both know that's not true. I think it was an angel, I lie, sent to stop us from finding the real Gran. Oh, I could see that.
It's a freaky angel.
Well, I mean, like if like
don't go in that
if
room.
her
Don't
dead
go in that
body was in the
room.
room, was like, don't go in there. You're gonna see me contorted into a pretzel.
Yeah, okay.
From the look Sarah gives me in return, I don't think she believes me. I don't know what we saw that night, or what made my dad decide to go straight there. But I know whatever was with us that night didn't have good intentions. So, are you scared? It's pretty good.
I like that one.
That's pretty good.
I really like that one.
It's up to interpretation. I like that it could be an angel, it could be a devil. I'm gonna choose to believe it's an angel.
The angel angle
Is good.
is good.
Yeah, because it's like, no, you don't want to go in there, trust me. She could have been a little bit more, direct.
Though I guess the part where it's the dad does make it seem a little
Yes.
nefarious. I like it because it's vague and a bit ambiguous, but it all
In a
kind of works
satisfying
together.
way. still.
Yeah.
Well, that story was written and submitted to us by Marnie Seifert.
Marnie,
It's been modified to fit this show.
great work.
Thank you, Marnie.
Until next time,
Well,
we'll be right here.
oh, that's so good.